typing your questions in the chat box in GoToMeeting, or you can also email me your questions at ed@agricultureinformation.com. I repeat, ed@agricultureinformation.com, and I will be forwarding those questions to Mr. Anand, and he will answer it. And if you have time, I may unmute one or two members in the audience, and you can directly talk with Mr. Anand. Mr. Anand, I am unmuting you, and you can start your presentation now. Mr. Anand?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can start.
Yeah. Hello everybody, this is Anand. Yeah, I am here to present some raising bank finance for agriculture projects. Let me introduce myself. Myself Anand. I am experienced in agriculture banking. I have worked with some banks for 7 to 8 years. Now I am a consultant for agriculture and agribusiness projects. To start with agriculture finance, in India nowadays, with the introduction of this foreign direct investment and the government policies which are inclined towards agriculture, there are so many projects which are coming up in agriculture. But at the same time, financing these projects from various financiers, say institutional finance or from private finance, is also an important task, which is, I feel, people are facing difficulties in getting this finance and all from banks or from private investors. So the idea of my talk is how to go and have a background of what exactly is agriculture finance, how to go ahead with that. To start with, I will explain what is agriculture finance and what types of finances are available in agriculture. Now, there are so many projects which are into agriculture, but since this is agriculture, every project is of a different type, and it is not like a pharmaceutical industry or automobile industry, that one industry will be exactly same as that of the other industry, other plant or something like that. So in agriculture, there is a plantation, that land-based projects are there. There are processing industries, there are cold storages and other storages. In plantation also, open field cultivation, then polyhouses and all. And apart from this, export financing and all other things are there. So basically, there are two broad categories of types of loans which are being provided by banks. We'll discuss about bank finance first, then we can go ahead with the private finance also. First thing is the term loans, which are given for the capital investment, like infrastructure development of a farm or a factory or something like that. And second is a CC, or we can say it a crop loan in terms of plantation projects, or a working capital in case of this processing and all. Now, what are the basic requirements to avail agriculture finance? Friends, it is very important to convince the bank or a bank officer for your project. The first and foremost thing is you have to be convinced about your own project. Say if you are going for a plantation of mango or some fruit crop, or you are going for a polyhouse, first and foremost thing is understand your project carefully, because you are the only person who will be explaining that project to the bank. Remember, project report will not work. Project report is just say a document which is required to fulfill the documentary requirement of the bank. But the crux of the business is what the promoter is knowing about what he is going to do. So first and foremost thing is you have to understand your project, your market, where you are going to market, from where you are bringing the inputs, what is your background, what is your experience, if you have some skilled manpower or not. These things are important for the as far as bankers' point of view, because they are dealing with money. They are interested in security of their money as well as getting some return from your side. So first thing is you have to be convinced about your project. Second thing is documentary requirement. More or less the documentary requirement is same in all banks or in across all states. There are some requirements which are state specific or which are industry specific, but basic requirement is you have to have the land ownership documents or whatever it is called in different steps, some Satbara or Pattedar passbook or something. The landowners, if you are a landowner, you have to submit those land records or certificates. Second thing, if you have, you can submit a project report. Third thing, the security. Whatever you are offering as a security, sometimes if it is a greenfield project, say if you are not a farmer, if you don't have a farming experience, and if you are going for a agriculture project, and if you are seeking bank finance from the bank, they may not satisfy with the agri land which is being used in the project. They may ask for some other securities like some urban security, some flat or some shop or some open plot or something. Sometimes they will ask for a liquid security of say fixed deposit or something like that. Whatever is there to offer to you or whatever you want to offer as a security to the bank, you have to have those documents ready with you. When you submit these documents to the bank officer will scrutinize those documents. He will ask for some more documents. Remember, no bank will give you the list of documents in one go. If at all there is a list provided by the bank, still they will ask for some documents. Say after 3 days they will ask for, yes, this document is required and that document is required. This is part and parcel of business. You cannot say that you have not told me last time when I was there or something like that. You have to be ready. Whatever the documents are required, keep the copies of maximum possible documents with you so that you will not face any trouble in front of bank. Then probably they will visit. If the project cost is say the project is small, say loan amount is say 10 lakh, 20 lakhs, the officer who is dealing with you or who is discussing with you may have a sanctioning power to sanction that much of loan. He will come to the site, he will visit, he will ask questions, and then the loan proposal will be taken up. Sometimes if the loan amount is say more than a specified limit, if it is not falling in the sanctioning power of that particular officer or that particular bank, that proposal will be referred to the bank's regional office or a zonal office as the case may be. Probably the officials from that office may come and may visit the site. They will ask so many questions about your project and about the profitability and all. You have to answer those questions. You have to clear their whatever queries are, and then that proposal will be taken up. This is about this plantation loan. And then comes to the food processing or some loans for cold storages and all. The process is more or less same, but in case of cold storages and this food processing, some technical things are required by the bank, like from where you are procuring the machinery, the name of the vendor, whether he is reputed in the market or not, what will be the cost of machinery, installation, various permissions, then certificates from say pollution control board or NA order. These documents are extra. These are the extra requirements of documents. Plus, at the same time, you have to have the projections, financial projections ready with you. Get it prepared from a consultant or CA. But remember, whatever projections are being shown in the project report or in your financial projection statement, you have to be convinced about those projections. If the promoter is not convinced, then it is very difficult to convince the bankers and to get their yes for the bank loan. Okay. Now, as far as the private financing is concerned, there are some institutes which are private financiers, some angel investors, and some private investors which are Indian or which are from abroad. Some foreign funds are there, which are these guys are interested in these types of projects. But the risk of availing private finance is more than that of availing agriculture or bank finance, because generally the bank interest rates are in the range of 12 to 14-15% nowadays for this agro-based project. But if you go for a private financer, his expectations will be not less than 20% per annum. Number one. Number two, he may ask for a equity partnership, or he may ask for a partnership in your business, share in the profit. That call has to be taken by you depending on the project profitability and the appetite of the investor. There are some private investors who are individuals who are interested in these types of projects. Remember, these investors are not keen on some agriculture or something like that. They want to invest their monies in some project. They have options to invest in, say, pharmaceutical or some automobile or some steel industry. At the same time, there is one more option is agriculture industry. So it is your job to convince him that your money will be secured and these are the returns which are expected from the project. And if he or that company or whatever the financer is, if it is convinced, then that deal will go ahead. Otherwise, it is very difficult and risky to get finances from private individuals as far as agriculture projects are concerned, because these are nature-based projects. The whatever financials are there, nobody is having foolproof justification for the profitability. If you go through the site, some site will say that this much of tonnage will be there from XYZ crop. Some other site will quote it more than what you have read or less than what you have read. So there is a difficulty in getting private finances, but banks are very positive towards agriculture because Reserve Bank of India is very keen on agriculture development. For your information or for your knowledge, let me tell you that there is a priority sector lending norm fixed by Reserve Bank of India for all private and nationalized banks in India. As per the norms, of every 100 rupees disbursed as a loan by a bank in a particular year, 13.5 rupees has to go to direct agriculture, that is to the farmer, and 4.5 to the indirect agriculture sector, that is food processing, distribution of agriculture inputs and all. As the banks are growing their businesses in other sectors, say personal loan, housing loan, or the corporate loans, they have to build their business in agriculture so as to complete the target of that 18.5% of total agriculture or 13.5% of direct agriculture. To complete that target, banks are also in need of good projects to finance, but it is the promoter's responsibility or promoter's job to convince the bank that this is my project and this is the project you should invest in. Second is, I get so many queries from people that we want 100% finance for our project. Remember friends, 100% finance, no bank will accept that request from your side, for the simple reason that if the promoter is not having any monetary contribution in the project, bank is not comfortable with that project. You have to have at least 25% of contribution from your side, and remaining 75% will be provided by the bank as a finance. Second thing is, sometimes people ask me that I will do the project wherever the subsidy is more, or I will do the project wherever the loan amount is, say loan amount is in crores. Remember, you are the promoter and you have to run that project. So if you want to run that project successfully, don't juggle around these higher subsidy or higher schemes or higher finance. First get convinced yourself about the project which you are going to do, and then approach the bank for the finance. Okay, I think this is sufficient. Remaining things will be covered in the discussion. I'll request the organizer to kindly open the forum for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anand. Audience, you can start your questions. Please type your questions in the chat box. Audience, Mr. Ritesh, Chetan, Adarsh.
Yeah, I got one question now.
Okay.
Just a second. I'll just go through it. I would like to make a greenhouse on my land. I'm an engineer and I can make my greenhouse, but consultants say that I need to go through consultant only, then I will get loan. Is this true? I think the same guy has asked me one question on I think mail also regarding this polyhouse. There is no need of any consultant to get loan from any bank. Consultants are only say we can say facilitators for your loan. The main important thing is even you can prepare your own project report if you are say technically strong enough to juggle around the Excel sheet and all. You can prepare your own project report. You can select your own vendor, or if you are an engineer, you can design your greenhouse. There is no need to go to any consultant or any agent for getting bank finance. Okay. Okay. The next one is from James. Okay. I think I have answered.
Yeah, Guru, Mr. Guru. Greenhouse.
Okay. Now the second is question is from Mr. James. What kind of service do you provide for agri entrepreneurs? Okay, we are basically agri-business consultants. We help in agri entrepreneurs or say new goers in agriculture to select the project, which project is suitable depending on the location, depending on the market, and depending on the investment capacity of the particular investor. We help them to select, we help them to prepare project reports, we help them to get bank loan. That is, we are not bank loan agents basically, but we will help you to complete the documentation and replying to the queries of the banks. We help in all the sectors of agriculture, for food processing or for land-based projects.
Okay, and
sorry?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, what is the current subsidies for greenhouse cultivation in Andhra Pradesh? Okay, let me tell you, there is a National Horticulture Board subsidy which is being offered from say central government side, which was about 20% of the project cost, but now they are now their policy is being changed. Now it will be 35% of the project's cost for the subsidies. And minimum requirement is you have to go for 1,000 square meter polyhouse. That is the minimum requirement for a polyhouse. And as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, I am not aware of the local subsidies there. You can contact your local agriculture department office whenever it is in the tehsil place or at district place. You will get information, because the different states have different policies regarding subsidies. But there is one more thing. If you avail subsidy from under one scheme, you are not eligible to avail subsidy under another scheme of the government. So you have to check whether the subsidy, if say state government subsidy is 20% of the project cost and central government subsidy is about 35%, then it is better to go for a central government subsidy and avoid the state government subsidy.
Okay, and what are your fees for different services?
Okay, the fees is depend on the consult I think the deal because if you want a project report only prepared from us, the fees will range from 0.5 to 1% of the project cost. If you want some market intelligence has to be done, some market studies has to be done, some feasibility reports are to be prepared. The fees will depend on the nature of work, if the area to be covered. It is actually since it is agriculture, there is no thumb rule of the percentage and all. It will depend on the work, how much work we need to take up for the project. But it generally ranges between 0.5 to 1 or to 2% of the project cost.
Okay.
Okay. The next question is from Rising. Please let me know the financing required for setting up agro processing and packaging plant in Nasik. Okay. As far as agro financing and packaging plant is concerned, the finance requirement is, say, you can avail a 75% finance from any bank or financial institution. You have to be ready with the project report and submit it to the bank. There are some subsidies available for food processing sector, but you have to check with your project whether your project is fitting into that particular subsidy or not, because some subsidies are available for certain types of food processing projects, say a value chain financing. So if you are tapping entire value chain right from the picking up of raw material from the farmer up to marketing the finished product, all the internal value chain, the logistic arrangements, cold storages, processing, and then final packing. This entire makes a value chain, and some value chain projects are eligible under for subsidy from Ministry of Food Processing Industries. There are some local subsidies, and there are some subsidies by state governments, which are dependent on the project. You have to check your project cost and you have to compare it with the standard scheme. Okay. So different fees that I think I have covered. Minimum investment required. The question is from Rising. Okay, the minimum, there is no such criteria of minimum investment required. Whatever the project is there, you have to invest at least 25% of the project cost. So if you are going for a say polyhouse, the costing for 1 acre polyhouse, including everything, the planting material, the installation of drip irrigation system and all, it will cost you around 35 to 40 lakhs per acre. So depending on that, you have to come with 25% of your own contribution. Okay, what is the subsidy available for greenhouse from state government and say, okay, I have already cleared about the central government subsidy. The state government subsidies are depending on the state governments. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, there is a scheme named National Horticulture Mission. In that scheme, there are subsidies for polyhouses, but these subsidies are not based on the entire project. There are some internal schemes that the subsidy will be available from for some of the components, say structure, or only for the drip system, or only for the shade net which is to be used in the polyhouse. But the central government subsidy is for the entire project, including everything.
Okay.
Okay, my website name, it is already there on the forum, that is www.agrifin.co.in. I will just type in the text box for your information. You can visit the website and you can use the contact form there to contact us. Okay. The next question is, direct farming interest rate comes at 12%. Is this under priority lending as well? State government announced loans at 3%. Is this true? Available for this from the 500? Okay. The direct agri is under priority sector because out of 100 rupees spent by the bank on loans, 40%, around 40% has to be for priority sector lending, and agriculture is part of priority sector lending. The direct farming interest rates are 12%. That is true. There are some variation among the banks. Some bank will charge 13% or say 12% or something like that. Then next is state government announces loan at 3%. Is this true? Yes, this is true, but these loans are available for the loan amount of current. These loans are not available for big farmers. That is for sure, because this is for the simple reason to promote the bank to finance small and medium farmers, number one, and number two, to make the small farmers aware of to make them easy to get make them enable get easy loan from the bank. Okay. Okay, this is one private question, but I will answer it publicly. There is no problem. Most consultants say that they have tie up with bank manager and they will not approve your loan. Can you suggest any bank? Okay. Yes, there are consultants who say that they have tie up with bank manager and they can manage with some illegal ways and something like that. Remember, friends, if your project is genuine and if you are confident about your project, there is no need to go for these type of illegal things in the market. Banks have their targets, they have to complete their targets, and bank officers are running here and there searching for these types of proposal. Only thing is you have to go with confidence in front of that bank person and convince him about your proposal. So, and can you suggest any bank? Almost all banks are there. There is no harm in approaching any bank. if you are say if you think that, or if you are suspicious that approaching a particular bank branch will be difficult for you, you can directly approach their regional office or zonal office. There are persons sitting there who are dealing with agriculture finance. You can meet them directly and they will guide you. Or there are options, because there are around 20 to 25 nationalized banks in India and around 20 to 25 private banks. You have options there. You can approach 2-3 banks at the same time, submit your documents, get the feel of the bank. If you are comfortable with a particular bank, you can go ahead with the bank. Okay, I will provide my email here so that ask for. Okay, this is my email ID. If anybody is having any question, you can send.
Okay.
The next question is how to select the bank or other financial institution for taking the agricultural loan. Okay. Earlier in 80s there was a Reserve Bank of India guidelines for the bank, that those guidelines are called as service area approach. That means a particular bank branch has assigned a particular area. In other words, that bank can finance in that particular area only. Then in 90s that concept was abolished by Reserve Bank of India, but many banks are still running with that mentality in their minds. So better option will be to approach the bank which is nearer to your project, number one. So that will be the best option. It will be easy for you not only to avail finance, but also to juggle with the frequent visits to the bank, then accounting transactions and all. It is better to select the bank which is nearer to your project. And after that, if you have 2-3 options there also, then you can meet guys there, and based on their response, how they are responding to in your first meeting, and that will show you the way which bank is to be selected.
Okay.
I will take the next question. It is agro processing unit financing. Okay, as I have already cleared earlier, the agro processing is an indirect agriculture activity for the banks. They have targets for financing agro processing units also. The important thing is same as that of farming project. You have to come with the project idea. You have to convince the banker about your project, the raw material requirement, from where you will be securing raw material, how you are going to process, which technology is to be used, what is the manpower requirement, where is the skilled manpower, whether it is available or not, and what is the marketing and sale arrangement you are proposing. And these things are there. There is a 75% of financing possible in agro processing also.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take the next question. How much a bank can give loan for a dairy farming and vermicompost plant respectively, and from which bank it will be beneficial, and what will be the rate of interest? Okay, for dairy farming means milk animals and all. The standard size, minimum standard size of a dairy farm will be 10 animals. There are dairy farms of 5 animals or 2 animals, but ideal size will be 10 animals. And approximate cost of 10 animal farm will be around say 8 to 9 lakhs, and 75% will be the bank finance. For vermicompost plant, if the vermicompost plant is commercial, then you can get a loan. If it is a vermicomposting, if you are vermicomposting for your own field, then it may not be feasible to get a loan for only for vermicomposting plant. If you are having a dairy farming and using the dairy waste to convert it into vermicompost and then selling it, then you can add that component to the dairy project report, and the entire project report can be submitted to the bank. And from which bank it will be beneficial for these types of projects, you can approach any bank, but see that whichever bank you are approaching has financed some dairy units in and around your area, so that it will be easier for them to process your proposal. If the local bank person is not having idea about processing of these types of proposal, it may take time to complete the formalities. If they have financed some dairy units in and around your area or in the same district, then they can easily take up your proposal. and the rate of interest will be same. Home loan it will be around 13 to 15%, again depending on the bank, and from working capital it will be 12 to 13% per annum.
Okay.
Okay, the next question, which bank is most friendly for sanctioning agriculture loan? There is not friendly or not friendly bank in say agriculture finance, because every bank is having target to complete the target to complete as far as bank finances, agriculture finance is concerned. The only thing is interpersonal relationship that matters a lot. If the person sitting in that branch is not say pro to agriculture project, you may face difficulties. So that is the only thing. Otherwise, there is no difference between one bank and other as far as agriculture finance is concerned, because everyone has to complete their target. Everybody is running for the projects. Okay. Okay, the next thing is I'm working on urban people to buy land and invest in cultivation, resulting in better land valuation and organic food. I don't understand the question though. Okay, I'll take the next thing. What about government wanting to set up cold storage and warehouses all over the India? This is good opportunity for, yes, this is good opportunity for agri entrepreneurs to go for cold storage and warehouses all over India. Because there is a need from these retail chains and from processors, because say if cities like Bangalore or Mumbai or Pune, if you have land around 50 to 100 kilometers from these cities, and if you are going for setting up the warehouses or cold storage, definitely there is a business. You can rent it away outright to these types of processors or traders for the commodities, for dairy products, for fruits, for vegetables, and all other processed foods and all. So there is a, this is a good opportunity for agri entrepreneurs, and there are schemes from government promoting these types of cold storages. Yeah, there is a scope definitely. Okay, what is the range of rate of interest on agriculture loan? It is already clear. It is ranging from 12% to 13-14% for the working capital loan, and it is say up to 15% for the term loan. It differs from bank to bank again, and it differs from the loan amount also. In some nationalized banks, if the loan amount is bigger, the rate of interest will be higher. Because the risk factor is attached to that loan amount, and in private banks it is just reverse of that. If your loan amount is higher, you may negotiate with the private bank for rate of interest, but the negotiation with nationalized bank is not possible because they have their card rate fixed. Okay, then next question, details of agriculture. Okay, I will do that. For polyhouse, electricity commercial? No, not at all. It is a polyhouse. It is agriculture activity. No, it is not a commercial rate. And as far as electricity is concerned, in polyhouse there is no requirement of electricity except for the irrigation. And irrigation is agriculture activity. Then there is no question of having any commercial thing. Okay. When you assist farmers and entrepreneurs to get bank loans, are you always successful? What situation do you find it difficult to get funding for your clients? Okay, this is a good question. We are not always successful. No person is successful in getting bank loans. It depends on thousands of factors. Some factors are beyond our control. If the promoter's background is not good, if he is a defaulter in some other bank and he has say he has not disclosed it to us, and the same proposal is went to the bank, and one fine day bank realized that the person is defaulter in some XYZ banks, he has not paid the loan for that bank, and that proposal will be rejected. And in some cases people approaches us for the bank finance, and they keep some things which are required for a say consultant or for a banker. They don't disclose these things. Remember, it is just like going to a doctor. You cannot say hide things from them, because nowadays with the introduction of this IT in banking also, nothing can be hide. If you are a defaulter, for say if you have defaulted for 100 rupees to a bank, it is very easy to find it out through a system called CIBIL, Credit Information Bureau of India Limited. It is an institution floated by all banks in India. They have database there. They update their database on monthly basis, and they can find anything about your credit history. And these things are very difficult to tackle with as far as the bank finance is concerned. If you are clear in your proposal, then it is not easy. Sometimes it happens that some people will come with some strange type of projects which are not practically possible. They do some research on internet, get a project report downloaded, and come with that project report, and yes, I want finance for this project. Remember, agriculture is dependent on agroclimatic conditions of particular area. If a person comes to me to cultivate apple in, say, Maharashtra, so it is not a feasible option to cultivate apple in Maharashtra. So these types of things are need to be seen, and these types of problems we are facing when we approach with a customer to a bank for a finance. Okay, subsidy in Gujarat. I am not aware about the state government subsidies. I think Gujarat state is having a most say farmer friendly approach as far as polyhouses are concerned, because they have their subsidy rates are more than that of National Horticulture Board subsidy. Please check it with the local agriculture department, or there are so many people operating in Gujarat who are providing solutions for polyhouse installation and all. These people will guide you for securing the subsidy.
Okay.
Okay, we had applied for agriculture society. We need guideline for collective farming. Okay, collective farming. I think collective farming, you mean to say a producer company or something like that. Agriculture society, if it is a cooperative society, then the rules are different for availing loan, and if it is a farmer grower, grower company, the rules are different. The guidelines. We need guideline for collective farming. That is, I think it is out of context of today's discussion, because today we are discussing about the bank finance.
Okay. Mr. Sridhar is asking, do we need to get the project approved by NABARD before taking the proposal to the bank?
No, not at all, not at all. Actually, as far as National Horticulture Board subsidy is concerned, there is a process of obtaining letter of intent, that is LOI. The process is like this. You will prepare your project report, then you will approach the bank for the loan. Then bank will issue a letter, that is called as a consent letter from the bank. It will not be a consent letter for loan. It will be a simple mention that we have received a proposal from Mr. XYZ for the XYZ project. The project cost is as follows. The proposal will be taken up as per the bank's terms and conditions, whatever it may be. With that letter or copy of application form, you have to approach National Horticulture Board for the letter of intent. After getting letter of intent, you have to then get the disbursement from the bank, complete the project, and submit the subsidy claim. So there is no prior requirement of getting the project approved by NABARD before taking a loan, because the subsidy is independent of the bank finance. It is independent. Both the subsidy provider institution is different. No bank will provide subsidy and no NHB will provide you loan. These are different, but to facilitate the farmer, they have made certain adjustment among themselves that to avail of subsidy, you have to get a letter from the bank, or to send a claim, you have to get it signed from a bank person. These are the requirements.
Okay. Sheetal is asking, banks ask for collateral. Hello?
Okay, the banks ask for collateral in the form of urban property to lend agri project. This is a problem for farmers who have their property in rural areas only. What are your thoughts? Okay, as I have told you earlier, these things, the security things comes up when the banks are not comfortable with either with the project or with the promoter. Because the land which you are going to offer as a subsidy, as a security to the loan, is the land where you are going to have that project. If that land valuation is not enough to cover the loan amount, they will ask for the collateral security in the form of urban property. Okay. Second thing, if at all that land valuation is enough to cover the loan, still some banks will ask if they are not comfortable with the promoter, or say if the promoter is not having experience in that particular line of activity, then they will ask for urban security. Okay. So this is the problem for farmers who have their properties in rural areas. Yes, this is true. The problem is there, but remember, friends, if you are in the seat of a banker, then you will be also careful about wherever you are lending your money. To secure that money, you have to have maximum possible security in your hand. So if they are asking for the collateral security, urban security, the other option is scale down the project a bit, start with a smaller unit, and then when the bank gets comfortable with your projections and your profitability and your repayment, then the bank definitely will go ahead with the expansion plan and something like that.
Okay. Sridhar is asking, is there a slab rate of financing depending on the acreage of the land?
No, the slab rate, the slab rate is, yes, the agriculture project or the farming project is definitely depending on the acreage. Say if you are going for a 1 acre of plantation of grape, then your finance will be say 2.4 lakh rupees maximum. If you are going for a 5 acre, then it will be multiples of 5. So this slab is there for finance depending on the acreage. Yes, definitely it is there.
Okay. There is another question. There are so many subsidies and other schemes available with respect to agri finances from government, but farmers and agri entrepreneurs don't know about. Where should the agri community look for such reliable information?
Okay, the most reliable information source is for the state government subsidy is your nearest state agriculture department. Almost all states have their state agriculture departments which are having their headquarters at district level. You can go there. There is a literature with them. There are people speaking there who will guide you about the subsidies which are being provided by the state government. As far as the central government is concerned, there are agencies where, say, National Horticulture Board, that is, they have their website. Their website is very user friendly. All the schemes are there. You can apply for that subsidy online. You can track your application. You can have information there. You can also go and visit the Agriculture Ministry's website, where the sub departments are enlisted there. There are some schemes which are there, the guidelines are there. There are various schemes by central government. All the guidelines are there on their website. That is the only reliable source as far as projects are concerned. And for more clarification on that, you can send them mail, or you can approach some consultants who are having experience in these types of projects.
Okay. Mr. Patel is asking, do we get subsidy on purchase of machine mounted sprayers?
Okay, machine mounted sprayers, if it is, say again it comes to the project again. If it is a part of a horticulture project or a plantation project, yes, definitely you will get subsidy on the purchase of machine mounted sprayers. Yes, but it must be a part of your project. Say if a project cost will consist of a project cost table will be there, the plantation cost, then drip cost, and then machinery cost, then sprayer, the irrigation facilities, electric motors, pipeline and all. If this machinery or this sprayer is included in the project cost, it is eligible for subsidy. Since that National Horticulture Board subsidy is there for 35% of the project cost, definitely this machinery will be covered in the project. Okay, one question we missed, I think, how can I get loan to purchase agri land? Cost of land is high, want to develop horticulture development. Okay, this is very important question. Many people are asking this type of question to get loan to purchase agri land. Banks generally do not encourage loans to purchase agri land. There is a scheme from Reserve Bank of India for purchase of agri land, but that scheme is only for landless labor or the people who are classified as small farmers, that is having 2.5 acres or less land, and to come up from that small farmer category, the banks can finance. But Banks generally do not finance for agriculture land, and it is indirect unwritten rule from Reserve Bank of India not to finance for a purchase of agri land because it has some social issues. If people are getting a loan for purchasing of agri finance, there will be no small farmer in the country in future. So that's why they generally do not encourage. The best thing is purchase your own land and then approach bank, so that bank will get comfort on you that you have invested XYZ amount in purchasing of that land, so that you will go and execute that project well. If you are going for the land and project and everything from the bank finance, and tomorrow if you default in that, then bank will be in difficulty.
Okay. Mr. Sandeep is asking regarding cultivation cost. Banks provide 100% loan or 75%?
Okay, for cultivation cost, you mean to say the recurring cost, which is called as crop loan. There is a term called as a scale of finance. As far as the crop loans are concerned, scale of finance is being fixed by the particular district bankers committee every year, and that will be circulated in all branches of all banks in that particular district. So that scale of finance is around 90% of the cultivation cost. It is not 75% or not even 100%. It is around 90%. The 10% will be the farmer share, and you will get 90% as a finance. It is called as a crop loan or agriculture cash credit.
Okay. Mr. Adarsh is asking what is the minimum capital required for setup of cold storage?
Okay, it depends on the size of cold storage. A standard size cold storage of say a 45 metric ton cold storage with a 5 ton of pre-cooling will cost you around say 70 to 80, 60 to 70 lakh rupees. It again depends from state to state, and you will get 75% of loan, and your capital will be 25%. In all projects, your share will be 25% roughly. Okay, the next is, can you please give us website where you can read different schemes of government for entrepreneurs, also where you can find subsidy forms. As I already told, you can visit National Horticulture Board website, where you will get subsidy schemes which are already listed. Even they have published these schemes in some regional languages also. You can go through those schemes, and you can apply online there. And there are, if the project is agro based, you can visit Agri Department website, Agriculture Ministry's website, Central Government Ministry, and get the information. If it is a food processing project, then you can visit Ministry of Food Processing website, which is again under Agriculture Department at central level, and you can get information about that subsidy. Okay, Mr. Jain is asking, I want to purchase a land worth rupees 15 lakhs, when I can take the loan. No, it is not possible to get a loan for purchase of land. The better option will be find a partner or say person who is interested in these types of projects and who is having that much of capital with him. Partner with him, get the land purchased, and then approach the bank for the project. Because generally bank will not entertain any land purchase proposal. Generally, it is very rare to get loan for land purchases. Is there any loan subsidy scheme for remaking older poly house? I think no. There is no such subsidy for purchase of used poly house or something like that. But you may get subsidy after getting the structure, basic structure, after purchasing the basic structure, metallic structure. You can approach state government for the other smaller subsidies. There's subsidy for a irrigation system, for a drip, or for foggers, or for a shade net which is to be installed inside the poly house. These types of subsidy, this is a mix and match. You have to approach your agriculture department person and try to get maximum possible subsidies for these types of projects. But generally, as far as National Horticulture Board is concerned, they will not entertain the older structures for the project. Okay, the cold storage money required you have mentioned is excluding land cost. Yes, it is excluding land cost. You cannot club the land cost. Yes, you may club the land development cost, which is say around 5% or 10% of the project cost, but land cost banks generally they do not entertain. And for National Horticulture Board, they do provide subsidy for cold storage. Also, they consider land cost up to certain extent. That land cost should not be more than 10% of the total project cost. That
Okay.
is possible, but generally the land cost is excluded in the projects.
Okay. Guru is asking estimated project cost of greenhouse for 1000 square meter, and is it okay to start in this extent?
Okay, the 100 square meter is the ideal minimum viable unit for a greenhouse. Approximate cost will be around 10 lakhs. It is 10% more or less depending on the crop. If you are going for carnation, you may need a support structure for that carnation and your cost may be higher. But rough cost is 10 lakh rupees for a 100 square meter polyhouse, and it is okay to start with this 1000 square meter polyhouse. There is
Okay.
no problem.
Okay. Adarsh is asking, how can we know that which place is ideal for cold storage, and do you provide consultancy for cold storage?
Okay, which place is ideal for cold storage is depend on the study. Generally, cold storage are being coming up in the nearer to the big cities where markets are there, like Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai, or Delhi. These are the ideal place because the cold storage you can use cold storage for storing your own produce, or you can use it for say renting out to other people for their produce. And if the cold storage is near to these cities, when there is the off season for agriculture produce, you may use that cold storage for storing non-agriculture produce like medicines and all, and you may get extra additional income from that. But it is not allowed if your project cold storage is meant for agriculture produce. But if there are some vacant spaces there, you can utilize for other things. And do you provide consultancy for yes, we do provide consultancy for preparation of project reports, applying to National Horticulture Board, and these things. Yes, we do provide consultancy. Okay, have heard of mini cold storage for costing about just 2 lakhs. There are mini solar based cold storage suitable for village. Are these good and effective? Okay, this small cold storage, even Godrej has came up with a small cold storage unit, which is very innovative thing. They will build a 10 by 10 by 10 square feet room, and just they will attach a window AC to that room, and that will be a cold storage. These types of cold storage are now coming up in the market, but the capacity to store material at these in these types of cold storage will be very less. Number one. Number two, solar based cold storage are there, but the power consumption of cold storage is very high. I don't think the solar will compensate that power. And number three, there are power problems in rural levels across India. The fluctuation is there, the load shedding is there. So it is not advisable to go for these types of cold storage. But if you are having small dairy unit and if you want to store your milk for a day or a milk product for 2-3 days, then these cold storage are possible. But for commercial basis, these cold storage are not that effective.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sridhar, for your feedback. Mr. Anand, we received 2 questions. One in our discussion forum. I'm just pasting one question.
Okay.
It is from Mr. Mani Sharan. This is the question.
Okay, please. Okay, I'm an engineering third year student and very much interested in doing greenhouse farming. How to raise funds for it? And many are saying that it is very costly and not much suitable in Andhra Pradesh. I don't even have a land for cultivating. Suggest me any angel investor. Okay, there are 3, 4, 5 questions here. Okay, so how to raise funds? But basically he is not having any land. He has to arrange for land first, number one. Then he has to approach for a polyhouse. Many are saying that it is very costly. Yes, this is costly because yes, a polyhouse is costly thing. It is for 1000 square meter. It will cost you around 10 lakh and not much suitable in Andhra. It is not true because there are crops which are having demand in the market. Colored capsicum is there, roses are there, gerbera is there. Then some exotic vegetables are there which are having demand in the market. There is no such thing like that. It is not suitable. But remember the location where you are going for your polyhouse You should have all year round road connectivity to transport your final produce to the market. It should be as far as near as from the marketplace to save on the cost of transportation. And as far as angel investing is concerned, again it is as I have started in my lecture, that is angel investors are there, but their expectation from the projects are on very higher side. And for in agriculture project, if everything is dependent on agriculture, you can't predict the losses or profit. And if he's asking for 30% or 20% or whatever returns for his investment, then it will be very difficult for you to go ahead. My best idea will be to get some experience, hands-on experience from existing polyhouse growers, make friendship with them, get experience from them, and then go for your own.
Okay, Mr. Adarsh is asking, is cold storage is management intensive? What is the minimum land required?
Okay, it is not management intensive if you are giving it for rental purpose, because the cold storage is a very nowadays it is a very simple structure. It will have a cold storage room attached with a refrigeration system and all. The refrigeration systems are installed by reputed vendors. Then there is not much and those annual maintenance contracts can be done with the vendors. They will take care of the refrigeration system. So there is not much management intensive. One manager, 2-3 watchmen, and remaining thing is labor. Almost unskilled labor is required for loading and unloading. And what is minimum land required for a standard polyhouse? For a standard cold storage of say 50 tons, around half to 1 acre land is required for cold storage and for moving of vehicles and all. There is not much management required for managing a cold storage if it is planned in a right manner.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Patel says, yeah, thanks Mr. Bansode, especially the commercial rate of electricity which I am being charged here in Dehradun. I will now approach the authorities once again. Okay, Mr. Patel.
Yeah, you can easily approach, because it is not a commercial thing. You can very well convince them. Take your land records with you and take your project details. Ask those people to come and visit your place and show them that you are not using it for commercial purpose. It is just agriculture. If you are growing something there, so it is not a commercial activity. You can very well approach and get it done from those people. As far as Dehradun is concerned, I think Uttaranchal, that state is very farmer friendly. But I don't know how things are going on. You can very well approach them. You can fight.
Okay. Mr. Sandeep is asking, dear Anand, apart from consulting, do you invest or have a fund where interesting projects could be encouraged? Just a thought.
Okay, no, we are not investors. We are consultants. We are just consultants. I am a postgraduate in agriculture. I am into consulting mainly. We don't invest, but we do help people to get investors. We have some people in our contacts who are investors who are searching for these types of projects. But depending on their appetite, if the project is suitable to them, then definitely they will invest. But we don't invest. Okay, one more question is missed from Mr. Deepen. If there is no proper supply of water and if we want to bore in our farm, how can we get it? Okay. So if you want, so it is a technical thing to get a bore well in a farm. You can go for a water water availability done from that geological survey. That machine is there. They will study the rock structure in your farm, and then they will finalize points for a bore well, and you can get a bore well there. But make sure that the water availability is there in and around your farm. Go visit some farms around you, check the wells there, at how much depth they are having water, and depending on that you can take a decision to go for a bore well.
Okay, Mr. Guru is asking, how about the demand for exotic vegetables in Chennai?
Okay, Chennai I am not aware of. I am from Maharashtra. I am not aware of Chennai, but there is demand of exotic vegetables in almost all metro cities nowadays. hotels are asking for these exotic vegetables, and there is demand, but the right demand has to be captured by studying the market. You can visit Chennai Mandi. There might be a Mandi there, centralized Mandi. You can talk to the commission agents there. You can check which types of exotic vegetables are coming there, from which area they are coming, what are the average rates are they are getting, what is the arrival position around the year, month wise, and depending on that you can take a call on growing these types of vegetables.
Okay. Mr. Adarsh
Okay,
is asking whom to approach for this geological study. How much does it cost?
okay, geological study, there is a, I think if you are from Maharashtra, I don't know from which state you are. If you are from Maharashtra, there is a department named Groundwater Survey and Development Authority, GSDA. They have their offices at the district headquarters. You can find their office. They have equipment with them, and it will cost you around, for one borewell point, it will cost you around 1,000 to 2,000 rupees. And there are private people who are doing the geological studies. You can get information from your nearby farmers or from your city. There are private people, they will come with the machinery, they will study it, and they will suggest you the right time. It will not cost you much. It will be around 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per point, plus to and fro charges for their staff. 2-3 people will come. They will come with their electrodes and some electrical devices, and then they will search that water thing and all. And there are some people who are doing water divining. Actually, it is not a technical method. There are some people using coconut or some branch of some plant, and they are finalizing the bore points and all. These are some that is called as water divining. There are some successes in water divining also. If you can find that type of person, then you can have a check with that also.
Okay. Mr. Guru is asking.
Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Guru is asking what is the procedure for analyzing the market for exotic vegetables?
Okay, procedure for analyzing the market for exotic vegetables. Okay, that is again a say feasibility study type thing. If you can do it at your own, or you can consult expert in the agriculture consultant. They will do that study for you. The procedure is first to go to the market, as I have already told you. Go to the market, check with the arrivals and prices of that particular vegetable or group of vegetables, and the commission agent will give you the demand position, which are the buyers. If the hotels are directly purchasing from them, or some big players are purchasing from them, or some retail chains are purchasing from them. You can visit some big hotels or some Chinese restaurants like that and get a information. But it is all informal. Nobody will provide you the exact position. You have to go and make friendship with them and get information from them.
Okay.
One question we missed. Question first. Whatever crops is generated, is there any consultant who take it from the farm and sell for? Yes, there are some consultants. It depends on the location where you are having your polyhouse. Some companies are there, some retail chains are there who are buying these type of crops under contract farming arrangement. But you have to grow the crops which they want for their consumption. So that is there, but you have to approach carefully and get the contract signed, and all the clauses are carefully read and all. Based on that, you can approach the consultant. But it is better for a farmer to approach the market and study it on by him. To get an idea of market, because if you are too much dependent on consultant on everything, right from the project report preparation to the market, then it is very difficult to manage, because this is agriculture and it cannot be substituted by a consultant.
Okay. Mr. Ravindra is asking
from Karnataka. I don't know whether the groundwater survey department is there. You can approach agriculture department and ask them whether this type of department is there, or there are some private people who are doing these types of jobs.
Okay, Mr. Ravindra is asking where can we get financial assistance for coffee processing park containing 25 units?
Okay, coffee processing part, honestly, I don't have any idea, but I have an idea about mega food park or mini food park scheme. That is a scheme from Ministry of Food Processing Industries. You can check it on their website. There is a scheme. They provide some subsidy assistance and some common facilities assistance for agro processing. There are some requirements, say 25 or 50 acres of agri land is required for this type of project. Then you can have 25 different plots there. You can lease out those plots for to the various processor for this coffee processing and all that. And for financial assistance, after getting more from this for your mega or mini food park scheme, you can approach the bank with the project and get finance from any bank which is there in the market.
Okay. Audience, any other further questions? Okay. Yeah, welcome, Mr. Ravindra. Audience, if you have further questions, please visit the link which I am giving now, and you can continue your discussion through this discussion forum.
Okay, Rajni, I think there is one more question on the forum. That is from Rajasthan. Shall I take that question?
Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, there is one question. Based in Rajasthan, want to work on high-tech farming. Land itself is okay. Land itself is very costly.
How can I get finance to buy the land?
Survival for 3 to years till the crop is matured. Okay. The land cost, land purchase, it is already cleared. For fruit plants, which are say long durational fruit plants having say what is called it as a juvenile period of 3 to 4 years, and you will get the income only after 4 years. And the project survival will be done through intercropping. You can definitely go for intercropping of vegetables or some crops between the fruit crops, and that intercropping will give you sufficient yield to manage the farm for that particular 2-3 years.
Okay. Mr. Guru is asking, I am a beginner. I am about to start organic cultivation of exotic vegetables in a greenhouse about 1000 square meter. What is your advice?
Okay, okay, Guru, you can, yes, I have already explained something in this. You can approach first, it should be a reverse engineering. Don't go for greenhouse first, go for the market study, which are the vegetables which are required in that market, and do some reverse calculations, how much is the demand, and based on that, you plan for your polyhouse and then plan cultivation of those vegetables in the polyhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a message for.
Okay. Yeah. Audience, you can, as I said earlier, you can continue discussion by posting your questions in this link in the forum, and Mr. Anant will answer your questions. And before I end this, okay, Mr. Ravindra has questions. Banks are providing finance open top greenhouse.
Okay, there is no such requirement from the bank, or if it is a open top or it is a these are the methods of construction of polyhouses. Banks are not really what you call that. They don't have any problem with the type of polyhouse, but they have to be convinced about whatever you are doing there inside the polyhouse, the cultivation and all. There is no such requirement that if the polyhouse is open top, that they will not requirement. Okay, it is a low cost greenhouse. That yes, it is a low cost greenhouse, so you can get finance for that also. Even you can get a finance for a shade net house, which is costing 25% of the greenhouse polyhouse.
Okay.
Where can we get grain in India? I really don't know I could not understand the question. Grain machines means grain cleaning machines. Grain cleaning machines are available everywhere. There are grain machine suppliers in Mumbai also, and you can find these grain processing or grain cleaning machines in market committees or some small time processors, you can get ideas from them and you can get those grain processing machineries. They are available.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mr. Anand. Okay, audience, if
Yeah, thank you.
sometimes we miss some webinars. Can you guys record your session and make it available? Yes, Mr. Adarsh. See, in the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have done around 15 webinars, and almost all the recordings has been uploaded to the particular speaker's postings. So you can go and check all the postings. You can check the calendar entries. Okay. And before I end this meeting, I would like to have everyone's feedback. And you can please check this link. Please spare 2 minutes on this feedback form. It will help us to improve the sessions. I hope I will be receiving all 15 attendees feedback.
Have you posted that link? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I've posted it here. Audience, are you all there? Okay, Mr. Adarsh. That will be taken care. Audience, please reply to the feedback form. Okay, I think all have checked it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
thanks a lot.
Okay, Mr. Adarsh.
Yeah,
I request everyone to please fill up the feedback form which I have given you. For your information, I am just pasting it once again. Okay. Okay, I am ending this meeting, and thank you all for attending this webinar. This is an event organized by agricultureinformation.com. Please visit our events calendar for updates on forthcoming events. And I am closing this meeting now. Bye everyone. Have a nice evening. Thank you, Mr. Anand.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye. Bye everyone.